Router bite. Should have known better. Stupid, stupid, stupid. 2 in a row. Beep. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one. We're back in the shop. That means slingshot building time. This is the shape we're going for. This will be my 3rd attempt at it. Or I guess my 4th attempt. I had 1 success. Let me show you that right here. There's my successful one. I'm trying to reproduce this in a couple of different woods, and I came up with this beauty of a hawthorn. Isn't that lovely? And this beauty of a cherry. As you can see, there's some rot in there, and that was real weak. And then, yeah, that rot went all the way down through here, and that same growth ring was just trash. It's one of those. I got to about here with it, and then I really reef on them. Like, I'll just use one hand and squeeze them real good, and then it just popped. And that's why I do it. Better to go snap with no bands on than full draw, right? Anyway, stay tuned. We'll see if we can make something other than firewood today. Locust. Man! That's gonna look really good if I don't mess this one up. If you're not excited about that, there's something wrong with you. Here we are. There's our locust slab. Gonna do our best to maximize this grain. We do a little something like that. I flip it so that I can get symmetrical forks. The handle gets shaped enough to where I don't worry about it. I can get that symmetrical by eye later, but cutting out these forks, right, on this side, my pattern has a little bit more of a bump here than on this side. So I flip that over so that I can get that same little bump here. You can see where the line's doubled up. So I'll cut on the outside of the line on that, and that will give me what I need. So when I can, I'll cut off big slabs like this, just because that might be useful in making something else. And I try and keep my scrap as big as possible. That way, when I make scrap slingshots out of stuff that I find down here, I've got like sizable chunks to cut pieces out of. There's our rough shape. Got a little bit of the sapwood here. A lot of that midrib right down here. Able to get both end caps in there, which is pretty neat. I always like it when that pans out. You gotta have just the right size fork for that to happen, because I like my gap, 4 inches. So often one of them's on there, but the other one is not. So getting both of them is kind of special. That's kind of cool. And then, yeah, there's some kind of like punky stuff down here. We'll see how that sands out. Yeah. I'm excited. Let's pray that this one doesn't break. All right, so far we've sanded all around here, right? Just cleaned up all the saw marks on the edges. Cleaned up all the saw marks in the cup. Cleaned the little notches out. Where we made our relief cuts is where we generally get the deeper saw marks. So I just throw on like an 80 grit on the oscillating spindle sander and get after that. Now you'll see this one is a little bit wider than this one, and this side is a little bit wider than this side. So I'm going to throw her on the belt sander and just get that closer to even. It doesn't have to be identical, like it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm gonna get it pretty close. And then we will get into some shaping. Much closer to even. Once I get to this stage, I don't really measure anything. I just kind of eyeball a lot. I can tell you right now, there's a deep hook here and no hook here, so that's going to get leveled out pronto. Better. Not perfect, but better. On a lot of my slingshots lately, particularly with these like more exotic woods for me, I'm trying to use as much of it as possible. So that looks pretty neat. I'm going to cut this off at an angle so that we've got like a longer section, and then I'll put the whole deal on there and make my butt caps like that. So I'll cut maybe a 1/4 inch thick slice off one side, put it on there, put another slice on this side, glue them down. Those will be our butt caps. I've done this on quite a few slingshots, and I like how it turns out. Let me show you some examples of finished products. Honestly, like most of my favorite slingshots have this feature, and it's something I just noticed. So that one has a butt cap on each side. Camera's not picking up the textures in the grain real well, but it's there. That one's also got the butt cap. You'll notice both of those got lynx pins. I don't put lynx pins in all of them. If I do stick one in there, chances are it's gonna end up in my collection. Like as I was making it, I was fairly confident that it's gonna be mine as a keeper. So if you ended up with one of them at your house, you've got something special. I don't let those go much. Anyway, that one has some cool end grain on it. There's like some spalting in that end grain. That's apple wood, by the way. This one's Osage. Man. And this one's black locust. I kind of surprised myself. Apparently I do this more than I recollect, or at least these ones become keepers more frequently than non end grain butt caps. Kind of a cool phenomenon. Anyway, I'll show you how I do it right now. Yeah, I took a couple of extra slices because that came up. I like that. That's kind of cool. Still smells green though. Might have to nuke these, but if I can get that to come up and that to come up in the finished product, maybe that'll be interesting. If not, like there's nothing wrong with just plain old end grain with some contrast in it. Anyway, I'm gonna go dry these out, speed dry these real quick. I'll see you back in a few minutes. All right, we're back. We got our circles cut out. I put the part with like the prominent little extra knot down low because this is gonna get twisted on the belt sander and round it out nicely. So I'm hoping that that'll be the last part that sticks and you'll be able to see it real clear down where it meets this flat surface here. That'll give us a real nice tapered handle. We'll have to round these out a little bit, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. And I'm gonna leave this nice and square in there. I do need to even up a little bit of these forks here. Actually, from that side, doesn't look too bad. I need to take a little bit of edge off right here. But other than that, I mean, this is coming together pretty well. This is really nice wood to work with. It's good and hard, but I also don't have to worry about it breaking. But yeah. Here we go. All right, coming right along. That's gonna be a beaut. As you can see, my little knot trick kind of sort of worked on this side and worked really well on this side. I'll take it. That's relatively symmetrical. One palm swell addition here, one little laminate piece is much bigger. Like that's a full fingertip. That one's, I don't know, partial fingertip. Anyway, this one's much larger than this one is, but the handle of the fork's nice and symmetrical, so I'll take it. Yeah. All we got left is a little bit of sanding, maybe a little bit more shaping. Yeah, I'm gonna knock this down just a little bit. Pause. All right, we're back. Yeah, coming along. All right, that's gonna be dynamite. Be so good in the hand. I'm going to sand a great deal. For those of you who aren't familiar with my sanding, I start out at 100, then I go to 120, then I go to 150, then I go to 180, then I get it wet. Let it dry. I go back to 150, I go over it again with 180, then I do 220. At that point, I put in band grooves, and then after 220, I'll get it wet, let it dry, do 220 a second time, and depending on the wood and how nice the grain is and how the grain is filling, I will either apply super glue at that point or do it with 320. At which point, I will apply super glue and then I will spray it with clear coat. So I will walk you through some of that. Sanding is pretty boring. Or maybe it's everybody's favorite. Nobody ever shows the sanding because it's boring to do, but maybe it's incredible to watch. Maybe I'll cut out all the build part and just put together clips of me sanding for like 4 hours straight. See if we can't get like 300,000-400,000 views where people spend 4 hours watching me sand. Talk about a paycheck. $100 grit. For those of you who are brand new to woodworking, you want to fold your sandpaper in a tri-fold, I guess. All right, so I make a strip that's like 3 fingers wide, and then I'll fold it once, fold it twice, smash it flat. You sand with this surface until it's full and dead, and then you do this surface and you sand with this until it's full and dead, and then you've got this one in the middle that you sand with until it's full and dead, and then you can just like flick it and recharge it pretty much. But that tri-fold idea is pretty nice for hand sanding. Try it. 100 grit. Are you loving this? Sanding footage? Is that where it's at? Is that what we're doing? I may start a new channel. Just call it Mike Sands. Oh, man, that rolls off the tongue nice. Let's do it. All sanding footage, all the time. I'm Mike, and this is Mike Sands. When people in the comments question my sanity, I just explain to them that I am a teacher and a principal. There's 100. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Mike Sands. Today, we are using Diablo's 120 grit red. We'll see what kind of results we can get with this. Stay tuned. It's coming along nicely. That's what we're looking like at 120. Back to it. She's gonna hold good and nice. She's gonna hold good and nice. I'm an English teacher. She's going to hold well. Shout out to the fella who just got this Slingshot off of eBay. As soon as I'm done with this one, package this bad boy up and send it on its way. Should be in the mail tomorrow. You're gonna love it. This is a fun time. There's 220 wet. Look at that grain on that bad boy. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Incredible piece of wood. Gonna let this dry, put some band grooves in. We'll hit it with 220 again. With this kind of grain, we'll probably do 320 as well. Super glue, spray paint, kill some birds. When I do band grooves, I start on the corners. Just easy to get a good bite. And then you connect, all right? I've got corner 1, corner 2, and then I'm just gonna connect the pieces. Like that. Yep, and then I go all the way around. As you can see, we're dry. We're very groovy. Holds really well. It's pretty slim. It'll fit nicely in a pocket, but it does have some nice contour here, which aids in grip, and that finger tuck right there wraps up really nice. 4 inches, dead nuts. 3/4 inch tips. So on my 25 millimeter band here, it'll wrap around a little bit. And when I draw back, the corner of this will line up perfectly with the top edge of the top band. And that's what I aim down. Pow. Right? Anyway, this has been sanded with 220 once. It's been wet. Like I said before, we got band grooves. So now, second round of 220. And then we'll give it a little, I don't know, 300, 320, I think it's 320. This is Gorilla Super Glue. Blue stuff, as usual. For those of you who watch my build videos, the same stuff that I've been using for years. I love it, love it, love it. As you can see, it's fairly viscous. It goes on real smooth and you get a real good coat. It also doesn't dry terribly, terribly fast. It gives you plenty of time to spread it around. Right, like I can drop things and still get the cap on, and it's here. There we go. There's a look at how much I put on there. Yeah, it's just on one side. And then I'm just gonna smear it, swirl it around, get a nice even coat over the whole fork, all the little nooks and crannies, and give it some twisting in the band grooves. Once the eyes start to burn, and the lungs start to burn, and the nose starts to burn, it's time to set it down, let it dry. Dispose of gloves immediately. No eye burn. Yes. If you get rid of the gloves quick enough, it doesn't go off on the gloves and get all in your face. Next, I'm going to hit this with a heat gun, just so this is done in like 10 seconds instead of 10 minutes. And I will sand the super glue with probably 400 for a little bit, 1500, and then we'll hit it with some spray paint, some crystal clear gloss spray paint. There's our super glue. It's already a pretty nice finish. I'll just do a little bit of 400 and then spend a little bit of time at like 1500, just really polishing out some of the softer spots and knocking down the shine. That little bit of sanding also gives a physical bond for spray paint. Man, does that hold good. If you're a bunny and this is what you see, you're about to die. Or a grouse. Actually, I got a spot on my way to work where I've been seeing a couple of pheasants, so, and it's on state land. And pheasants are an invasive. You can whack them all. They want them gone. Eradicate is the word that they use in the literature. So, seeing as how most everything else is closed and rabbits are breeding right now, I might give pheasants a run. We'll see. Welcome back to Mike Sands. Tip of the day, use wet dry 400 grit sandpaper. Wet. If you're going to sand super glue or anything plastic, sand it wet. Makes life much easier. Some people even put soap in there, like soap and water when they sand their stuff. Like I'm talking about like acrylics, which I think is what super glue is. Epoxy based materials, G10, micarta, all that stuff sands better wet when you get into the finer papers. Boom. Sanded. I'm gonna hit this with 1500, and I know how much you love this whole sanding joke, but I am tired of filming sanding. So I'm gonna hit it with like 1500. I'm gonna spray paint it, and I will catch up with you either much later tonight or early tomorrow morning, and we'll get a look at this bad chicken all the way done. We may even band her up. We'll see. What's up, everybody? This is the point in the video where I show you what the Slingshot looks like. But I had a pretty unique opportunity this afternoon on my drive home where I got to hop out of my vehicle, run onto state land about 200 yards, and put a stalk on a pheasant. For those of you who are aware, pheasant aren't very frequent in Alaska. They're not indigenous here. They're an introduced species, and particularly on the Kenai Peninsula, they are an invasive species. No closed season, no bag limit. Fish and Game would prefer it if we eradicated them. So I did my part today. I only got the one, but what a cool experience. Like, I obviously didn't have a GoPro with me or anything. I was on my way home from work. I just saw one from the road, and there was a convenient spot to pull over, so I hopped out and got after it, and I made a very good shot. There we are. Today's new flip. Today's big old bird. If you look at the back of this, you see right in here, piece of skull showing. It's all mashed up. It's good and soft. Anyway, right in the back of the head. There's our finished out Slingshot. Clearly shoots pretty nice. Shooting. Burning skull. 0.7, 25-20 taper. Ah, she's lovely. What do you think, Salty Dog? You good boy? Yeah. It's a big bird, huh? Love it when a plan comes together. That's a really nice treat. We don't get a whole lot of pheasant. I might get one or two a year. One of these days I'll get one on film for you. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, that's a wrap. Like, comment, subscribe, share with like-minded people. You know the drill. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe out there.